We're finally back from Disney and we survived. Let's talk all about it. Hello, my name is Lauren and this channel is called Lauren Fosters, where we talk about all things foster care and adoption. But if you came here because you saw Disney in the title, don't go anywhere, because even though most of what I say is gonna always be from the lens of me being a foster and adopted mom, this video specifically is just about our trip to Disney and how we survived as a family of 12 at Disney World, so stay tuned. If you haven't checked it out already, us going to Disney World was a surprise that we presented on adoption day for our last adoption, which was of 2 of our foster kids at the time, numbers 9 and 10 of our kids. We do have 10 kids. So if you haven't had a chance to check out that video, I will link it up above or down below so you can kind of catch up to where we are in this story. The drive down there was gonna be about 12 or 13 hours from where we are, because we were stopping at a friend's house. Their oldest daughter is really good friends with my oldest 2 biological kids. We're a military family and we were all stationed at the same place at some time. And fun fact, they're also an adoptive home that adopted through foster care. So we kind of bonded through that as well when we were stationed together. And so we have these forever friends that now live down in Florida. So we stopped on the way to Orlando to visit them, but we were only going to get to be there for about a day and a half. But the cool thing was it was their sweet daughter's quinceañera, so my oldest 2 kids got to experience that. I mean, we all got to experience that, but that was such a neat reunion for them. And I did not tell my kids we were going to that until they found out about the Disney reveal itself. So it was all a huge surprise that they were also not only going to get to go to Disney World, which was amazing on its own, but now they were going to get a little reunion with one of their good friends as well. It was probably the most dressed up my people have ever gotten, and thank goodness we got a little trailer to put on the back of the van, because we had to bring a whole wardrobe worth of dress up clothes and that kind of thing. So we did do a lot of borrowing, because I knew these were things that my people were never going to need again. We're not a suit and tie kind of family. So we're not even a business casual kind of family most days. So we did some borrowing just to save a few bucks here and there, because we knew we'd only be wearing a lot of these items one time, and then I could go get them cleaned or machine wash them and return them to their owner. But everyone got fancy and we took as many pictures as we could, and our kids had tons of fun. So on the way there, we had a 12 or 13 hour drive. Once again, we are a military family, so my kids are used to being in the car quite a bit. With that said, once again, we just adopted 2 new kids that really haven't been on a long road trip with us before, but they are teenagers, so they did just fine in the car. Everybody did just fine in the car. I would say this is probably the first road trip where every single seat in our big van was full, because we have a 12-seater van and there's 12 of us. So with teenagers, I do have 4 teenagers. A couple of my older ones, a couple of my big boys, were kind of squeezed in there and not super appreciating having to be shoulder to shoulder with little siblings, but it all worked out fine. I have one that gets extremely car sick. He did really well, and it was fine. So we got there late on a Friday night, quinceañera Saturday night. By Sunday night, we were already in Orlando. We left at sometime midday on Sunday. We kind of hung around a little longer than we had originally planned, because we were getting to visit with some awesome friends, and we wanted to take advantage of that as much as we could. We did rent an Airbnb because it's just cheaper for our family. We do have 10 kids, 10 rowdy kids. Our family is a rowdy bunch. So staying in a hotel, not only from a price standpoint would have been really hard for us, but even like being able to all fit in a room without people sleeping on floors. And even if we had gotten, say, 2 rooms, 1 adult in each room, that's 5 kids plus an adult. That's 6 people in each room. So I had a lot of people ask me if we stayed on the resort. The answer is no. We stayed in an Airbnb. We definitely wanted to save as much money as we could on that, and it actually helped a ton having a kitchen and several bathrooms where people could take showers. It really worked out well. We did Disney in about 6 days. So our very first day, we had planned right now, if you're going to Disney, they are expecting park reservations, so you do have to reserve your spot ahead of time. I know that there's some sort of capacity they're shooting for, but I will tell you, having been there in the middle of July, I mean, the place was swarming with people. So I wouldn't stress out if you're worried that you have not gotten a reservation for a particular park, or you're worried you won't be able to get a reservation because you're worried they're gonna be too full. I don't know how full they allow it to get, because I will tell you that place was packed. And don't take that as a negative thing. We had tons of fun regardless of how packed it was. So don't let that piece stress you out. But we had reserved to, the first day, go to Magic Kingdom. The second day, we went to Epcot. The third day, we went to Animal Kingdom. And then the fourth day, we took off. So we had the military pass. It's called the Park Hopper Plus. So you are allowed to go. They have one of the two water parks are open. Only Blizzard Beach was open when we were there. They have two, but one was closed. And they have a couple little putt-putt courses. So you get a few things with that military Park Hopper Plus pass. And one of those things for us was getting to go to Blizzard Beach. So we kind of took the day off. It was the one day everybody got to sleep in. So, you know, Magic Kingdom, you stay up kind of late. Epcot, I believe stays open even later. Animal Kingdom kind of opens early. By the time we got to that fourth day of Disney, my people were just toast. So getting to sleep in, we let them sleep in quite a bit. And then I don't even think we went when they opened. We went like maybe an hour or two late. So we only spent a few hours at Blizzard Beach and then let the kids just kind of run around and splash around and have fun and not feel like we had to be on any kind of like schedule to get to rides or anything like that. It was just very low key, very mellow, which was nice for everybody because on days 5 and 6, we were going right back to Disney. So day 5, we did Hollywood Studios, and day 6, we had our Park Hopper day. So we had 5 days at the parks total, if that makes sense. But we just took a day off in between. And I will say, if you are anybody on earth, but definitely a foster and adoptive family, a family with a lot of kids, anything in the realm of where we live, as far as the kind of life we live, I would heavily suggest taking a day off. In fact, I kind of looking back wish we had even like expanded it further and taken maybe even a whole nother day off, like maybe done a day or two, day off, day or two, day off, and so on, because it's a lot to try to get in and super overwhelming. Day 5, we went to Hollywood Studios, which was everybody's favorite. By day 6, we had planned that to be kind of a Park Hopper day, and we had reserved for Magic Kingdom. And if you are doing a Park Hopper, I don't believe they start allowing you to hop the parks until 2 in the afternoon. So that would have meant Magic Kingdom up till 2 in the afternoon and then go to whatever we wanted. We actually had so much fun in Hollywood Studios that we ended up going to guest services and having them change that last day to Hollywood Studios. So we got to stay there until 2 in the afternoon. And then we ended up going to Animal Kingdom for our 2 favorite rides there. And then moving on to Magic Kingdom to finish out our day. So like I said before, I don't think that their maxes are like going to keep you from getting your reservation. So if you're worried about that, I wouldn't stress too much because we were able to change it right then and there for the next day and it was totally fine. I think Magic Kingdom does get full, and the second on that, the ones I noticed that were filling up a little faster after Magic Kingdom was Hollywood Studios, but the rest, I mean, you should be good to go. There were no huge swarms at Animal Kingdom or at Epcot. It was totally fine. I think the question I get asked the most is like, did we survive like with our sanity still intact? Like, how did everybody do, and like how was that, and like was that so hard? And I gotta say, it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was, my people were excited to go, so that helped on the way down as far as the car trip went and some of the emotions going on there. And he touched me and she looked at me funny, all this. People were pretty excited to get there, so there wasn't a ton of that. Plus, in between our different park visits, people were so tired. People were just kind of like happy to get back to the Airbnb and fall asleep and wake up and do it again. So I won't say emotions were super high. Maybe like at the most, it might've been like us grownups where we were exhausted. But otherwise, I would say like the kids did really, really well. Nobody really had any big moments that were unnatural for them. And I can't say that there was like some sort of recipe for that. I mean, like we made sure everybody had food and water when they needed it, and if somebody needed some rest, we kind of like sat down for a minute and allowed for that to happen. And so I mean, I don't know, it went fairly well. And I would like to tell you even that somehow they were grumpier on the way home because all the fun was done, but honestly, we were like so funned out that we were okay going home. Also, we missed our kitty cat and our 2 dogs, and so it was just kind of like time to come home. So I don't want to paint this pretty picture like somehow you're going to go to Disney and it's all going to be fun and there's not going to be anything wrong. I will definitely say we saw some very grumpy people there. So I know that that is a possibility, but we knew what we were walking into. I feel like we had like reasonable expectations. Like we knew going in the middle of July it was going to be hot and it was going to be busy. We knew that. So we weren't like surprised by any of it. We were ready for it. I warned my kids that because it's Disney, it really is a lot about the atmosphere and the experience. And it's not so much about running from ride to ride to ride to ride. So they knew ahead of time that this wasn't going to be some like thrill ride extravaganza, that it was more about just kind of looking around and taking it in. And so they were ready for that. We told them we were on a budget ahead of time. So once again, those expectations were kind of already out there that we weren't going to be spending an arm and a leg. We weren't getting things from the gift shops. We weren't going to buy but maybe like a meal a day. We had a budget for every single day we were there. So depending on what one meal might cost might mean the difference between a second one at the park or doing like a peanut butter jelly sandwich moment, you know? So they knew all that ahead of time, and because of that, I think that really, really helped. They were fully aware of what was going to happen. But anyway, that was our trip to Disney, and we had a ton of fun, but we were so glad to be home. That's all I got for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please like, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.